Hello everyone, Dan at Bushcraft. Well, it is 17 degrees on a beautiful, beautiful morning. We just got fresh snow last night again. Got me a nice fire going. And I got two trees behind me that I'm going to show you guys how to do a great winter tarp setup. In fact, what's cool about this is it's very multifunctional. If you want to keep a low profile, spring, summer, fall, whatever, you can set this up in the tall grass and make a shelter that's completely invisible. It also makes a great little shelter for being in front of a fire, for sleeping. It's not big and roomy for, camping or anything, but it's a great emergency shelter, survival shelter. I'm using a 7x10 AquaQuest Defender. Now this will work with other sizes, but a 7x10 is just about perfect. And as far as the AquaQuest Defender goes, it is next to a oilskin tarp. It is the heaviest duty tarp I've ever used. Highly recommended. 2 thumbs up. I've been using it a lot out here, and I'm going to show you guys a trick on how to protect it from embers. Right now, the wind, there's a very slight breeze blowing away from me, but if it were to change during the night and a few embers drop down onto the tarp, which is nylon, I'm going to show you a way to protect that tarp. So let's get started. All right. I got my ridgeline partially set up for you guys, and you're going to want the ridgeline somewhere about thigh height, just a couple inches above your knees. You want to keep this low to the ground. The other thing is when you put your tarp on it, so this is a 7x10. I've got the 10-foot section on the ridgeline, okay? The 10-foot section is on the ridgeline. The 7-foot section is behind me. Now what I've done is I have the ridgeline through the tie-outs, but I skipped the first 2 on each side. This is going to give us some sides to help enclose us in and catch heat from that fire and protect us from the wind. So on each side, I have left the end tie out hanging down. And that's going to give us our sides. So let me put on a trucker's hitch here and get this set up. Okay. Do the trucker's hitch. And again, I want this about just a few inches above my kneecap for height. Okay, now I can extend this tarp out in both directions, and I've already got my prusik loops on here, so I will fasten those off with some sticks. There's no shortage of sticks out here, so something like that will work perfect for this side. And let me go around and get the other side. Okay, I've got both sides pulled out tight. Adjusted about where I want it. And as I was saying earlier, once this is set up, this right here is going to give me some sides. So now I'm going to fold half of that underneath. There's a row of tie-outs across the middle and the back. We're going to use those to stake it down. So I'm going to fold the other half underneath. So you can kind of see what's going on here now. When I stake down the back, I will have a floor in here. So I've got a couple options. I've got my wool blanket with me, which is all I'm going to need as long as I keep this fire going. In fact, with this anorak, I have been very comfortable down to below zero in just the anorak, but my legs will get cold. So I want to keep my legs covered up with the blanket. And then the wool over the top of me will help protect the floor of this if an ember were to land in here. Now, I'm not just going to sleep on the cold ground. This keeps me dry. It keeps my gear dry. But I've got my fold-out foam pad. I've also got lots of boughs around me. So if I didn't have the pad, I can put a layer of boughs in here, or the pad, or both. However I want to insulate this. My fire is right here beside you guys. I left it about 1.5 feet out farther than I would have it at night. So at night, I would just take a long stick and shove it closer. But I wanted room to work and set this up. So let's go around to the back and stake it down and then take a look at it. Okay, quick tip for you guys. Whenever you're out and the ground is wet or freezing cold, snow, whatever, if you don't need your gloves on, and you can be without them for a couple minutes like I can, I'll put them back on when my hands get cold. Just move your gloves around under your knees, and then you're going to keep your knees dry and warm as you're working. So I'm going to start with the middle. I've got just some cheap black tent stakes off Amazon, but I've used them multiple times. I've had one that broke the tip, but I mean, they're cheap, and I always have an extra one or two, plus I can carve some. So I'm gonna do the middle first, and then I will do the sides. Grab my glove for a knee pad. Get the side in here. Okay, get this last side and we'll be ready. Okay, this is the back side. So I've got a nice low roof that's going to give me about 8 feet of coverage over my head, lots of coverage. And I haven't staked them down yet, but just so you guys can see, these sides will be staked down. Now, as I said, my fire's a little bit farther away, so I had plenty of room to work, but I'll slide it forward. And then, look at all that room I'm gonna have inside. So let's stake down the sides, and we'll be ready to try it out. Another tip for you guys on your tent stakes, if you keep shock cord on there, that can help with a lot of setups. If I can't get my tie outs quite to the ground, I can still loop that around the tie out and then put tension on there to pull it down tight without having to cut cordage. So I'm going to get this last one down. Okay. Small and cozy is what we want. Let's turn you guys. All right. As you can see, I've got wind protection now from both sides. I've got overhead protection, and I've got a dry floor for me and my gear. Again, this is a sleeping tarp setup. It's not for, you know, a room camping tarp where you want to sit up inside and stuff. But whereas today it's going to be sunny all day, below freezing all day, but sunny, I really don't need to be in here for any reason except for sleep. The rest of the time I can be out by my fire or doing stuff. I put my sleep pad in here or some tree boughs, cover up with my wool blanket, and I'm completely protected from the wind. And if it were to snow, I'm completely protected from the snow. And moving my fire closer, this is just going to catch heat and keep me warm and toasty all night. It's like the less, you got to remember, the less space that you have to heat, the smaller fire you'll need and the warmer it'll stay. Where this is very compact, a fire right here in front is going to trap all this heat. Whereas a big tarp that's open on the sides and whatnot is going to take a lot bigger fire to heat. Now I said I was going to show you guys a little trick, okay? I'm going to slide my fire down here later, closer to the tarp. It's going to be in front. The wind's blowing away from me right now. Any embers are going out there. As far as this goes down here, I'm going to have my wool blanket stretched out. So the whole floor is going to be protected from an ember landing on this nylon. But here's a super easy trick. So just using tree boughs. Now if any stray embers come down, they're going to land up on top of these green, wet tree boughs and not get on the tarp. If needed, I can put a few more on here or whatever. Also, as I mentioned earlier, you can use this as a low profile tarp for stealth camping. So imagine in the spring and summer, and I'll come back and do one then for you guys. This is in the tall grass. We put tree boughs, leaves, whatever, over the top. It's only, you know, less than 2 feet off the ground. I am completely blended in with my surroundings. So there she is, all set up. Like I said, it's just basically a clamshell and my tree boughs on the top. My fire's doing just fine. It just needs to be moved to right about there. It was real easy to just slide that forward, put a few rocks in front of it if I'm worried about it creeping at night. And probably put a few more boughs on this far side. But you can see how much protection that gives that back there. So the stray embers, and they won't ignite that. I mean, that's green and it's very wet and it's humid. So any stray embers are just going to land on those boughs, and the nylon tarp is protected. And that's cool because, I mean, I like oilcloth tarps if I'm camping close to my vehicle, but those things are heavy. Now the AquaQuest Defender, it's no lightweight either. It's almost 3 pounds, but that's a lot better than an 8-pound canvas tarp or a 10-pound. And it is super tough, super durable, lifetime guarantee on the AquaQuest tarps. And again, if you just use what nature provides, some boughs, some leaves or whatever, you can make your tarp to where it's fully protected from the embers of a fire anyway. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that and the few little tips and tricks I shared along the way. Again, a lot of people are under the idea that you have to have a oilskin tarp, a big heavy oilskin tarp, to use it next to a fire, and you don't. You can use your poncho, a small tarp, whatever you got, and then just throw some tree boughs or, you know, green, whatever you've got that's green over the top to protect the top. Just takes a minute, and you can use a lightweight tarp or a lighter weight tarp. And I've got something super cool to field test for you guys very soon to actually debut to you. So stay tuned. That'll be coming up shortly. Take care, everyone.